Football now, fresh from their heroics in the FA Cup. Swindon Town are back in cup action this evening in the first leg of the Johnstone's Paint Trophy Southern Final. Paolo Di Canio's team saw off Premier League side Wigan at the county ground on Saturday, but have to get past fellow League Two opponents Barnet to make it to Wembley for the Football League Trophy Grand Final.
This is the most important cup for us. Someone called this cup Mickey Mouse, but many clubs want to win this cup and never happened to them. So I hope we can go through and reach the final, because it will be a fantastic moment for this club ever.
I think it's possibly a bigger game for us because, you know, we've got a decent chance of winning the Johnstone's Paint Trophy, where the FA Cup obviously will be more difficult. So it's a massive game, and you know, I've never played at Wembley, and it's one of my dreams, and I'd love to play there. So, you know, as players, we're going there, you know, fully focused and trying to get a good result to bring them back to the county ground in the second leg.
Now, just like Crystal Palace and Cardiff, Barnet and Swindon are eyeing Wembley. They meet tonight in the Football League Trophy Southern Area Final. It's the first leg. Jonathan Oakes is there.
Yes, it's Barnet against a buoyant Swindon team who beat Wigan in the FA Cup on Saturday, so going to this game full of confidence. Paolo Di Canio's made 3 changes from the team that beat Wigan on Saturday. The Italian defender Alessandro Kubocki comes in, the Spaniard Lander Gabilondo comes in as well, and the Czech Republic striker Lucas Magira comes in too. That means that Rafael De Vita and Alan Connell dropped to the bench. Connell scored against Wigan on Saturday, and the winning goal scorer, Paul Benson, isn't fit enough for a place on the bench tonight. As for Barnet, after their 2-0 win over Bristol Rovers last time out, their manager keeps the same 11 that started that match, so he's keeping faith with them. It's 24 years since Lawrie Sanchez scored Wimbledon's winner in the FA Cup final against Liverpool, and he's looking to take a team to a Wembley final as a manager now. It's goalless so far, Barnet 0, Swindon 0.
So that cup semi-final is an all-championship affair. There's an all-League Two affair in the Football League Trophy Southern Area Final this evening. It's the first leg at Underhill. Barnet taking on Swindon. Any closer to an opening goal? Jonathan Oakes.
No, it's still 0-0 here, although Swindon did come close just a few minutes ago. Simon Ferry bursting through from midfield, a driving run, took the ball and just shot just wide of the Barnet goal. It was a good run from midfield, but other than that, the two teams have really been sizing each other up so far. Swindon are the overwhelming favourites to win tonight. They've won 17 of their last 25 games, and they knocked Wigan out of the FA Cup on Saturday. But Barnet manager Lawrie Sanchez has always thrived as the underdog, and he'll be hoping to return to Wembley. Remember that goal he scored for Wimbledon against Liverpool in the FA Cup final in 1988. Can he take his team to Wembley as a manager? We'll see. So far here, though, it's Barnet 0, Swindon 0.
Southern Area Final in the Football League Trophy taking place this evening for you, Barnet against Swindon. Let's get the very latest with Jonathan Oakes.
Just before half-time, and Swindon have taken the lead. It was the centre-half, Aidan Flint. Paul Caddis hooked the ball over, and Flint with a towering header at the far post to put Swindon ahead. Just before that, we had a long delay after an injury to the Barnet defender, Danny Sender. He did spend a long time down. He was in a lot of distress. The physio came on and immediately asked for the stretcher to come on. He's been stretchered off. And unfortunately, it's not the first time that Sender has picked up a serious injury against Swindon. When he was at Millwall, he also was seriously injured in a match against Swindon. Let's hope it's not as serious as on that occasion. So Barnet have had to make a change in defence, and just after that, Swindon took the lead. So approaching half-time here, it's Barnet 0, Swindon 1.
Now, Paolo Di Canio was an emotional man at the weekend after his Swindon side knocked Wigan out of the FA Cup. Is it going to be another good night for him, this time in the Football League Trophy Southern Area Final? First leg, his side are at Underhill taking on Barnet. So is Jonathan Oakes.
It is so far, yes. His sides are leading 1-0 here in the Johnstone's Paint Trophy Southern Area Final, and the goal just before half-time by Aidan Flint, a towering header at the far post. Paul Caddis has just come close to adding to that score, rode a couple of tackles, but his effort was blocked by Clovis Camjo. That goal just before half-time really added insult to injury for Barnet. Just before the goal, Danny Sender was stretchered off with a serious-looking injury. An ambulance has just arrived to take him to hospital, so Barnet will really want to get themselves back in the game for him in the second half, and to take a decent score into the second leg at Swindon in 2 weeks' time. But so far, it's Barnet 0, Swindon 1.
There has been a second goal in the game at Underhill in the Football League Trophy Southern Area Final first leg, the match between Barnet and Swindon. Swindon were 1-0 up. It seems that Mark Hughes has been a busy man today. Jonathan Oakes.
Yes, it's a big day if your name's Mark Hughes, the new QPR manager, of course, and Barnet's captain, who also goes by the name of Mark Hughes, has equalised for his team here tonight. 72nd minute, the ball swung in from a free kick by the ex-Swindon winger Mark Marshall, and Hughes rose above the Swindon defence to plant a firm header that Wes Fodringham in the goal got a hand to, but he couldn't stop it going over the line, and Barnet are back in this game. Just before that, it looked like it was Swindon who might have scored the second goal of this match. Alan Connell, who scored against Wigan at the weekend in the FA Cup, has come on and had a couple of decent chances, a goal disallowed as well for offside, so he's looking a threat. Paolo Di Canio still going for it, putting on 2 strikers for the remainder of this game, but it's Barnet 1, Swindon 1.
Full-time whistle has gone at Underhill in the Football League Trophy Southern Area Final first leg. Barnet against Swindon. Are we any closer to knowing who's going to Wembley? Jonathan Oakes.
We're not. It's perfectly poised for the second leg. It's finished here. Barnet 1, Swindon 1. Swindon took the lead just before half-time. Aidan Flint with a header at the far post. Just before that, Barnet had lost Danny Sender to a serious-looking injury. An ambulance arrived for him just shortly into the second half. And as he was being wheeled around the side of the pitch, the Barnet fans applauding him off, Mark Marshall swung in a free kick, and on the end of it was Mark Hughes, not the new QPR manager, but the Barnet captain, Mark Hughes, to head in and equalise for Barnet. After that, both sides had chances to win the match. Paolo Di Canio sent on 2 strikers. One of them, Alan Connell, had a goal disallowed. And at the other end, Marshall, the former Swindon winger, had a chance just wide. And the substitute, Mark Byrne, went down for a penalty late on, but the referee wasn't interested and didn't give it. So it's perfectly poised, as I say, for that second leg on the 7th of February. Laurie Sanchez was hoping for his top scorer, Isel McLeod, to weigh in with a goal tonight. That would have been 20 for the season, but he hasn't had a sniff tonight, and he's had to rely on Mark Hughes, scoring just his second goal of the season and get Barnet back in this tie. It's finished here. Barnet 1, Swindon 1.
Now, Mark Hughes hasn't just been making headlines in the Premier League today. He also scored for Barnet against Swindon in the first leg of the Southern Area Johnston Paint Trophy Final. And now Barnet suffered a major setback early on when Danny Sender dislocated his kneecap. It's the second serious injury he suffered playing against Swindon. And just 2 minutes later, Aidan Flint headed Swindon in front. But with just under 20 minutes to go, Barnet equalised when Mark Marshall's free kick was headed in by that man, Mark Hughes. The second leg is on the first Tuesday of next month. The winners go through to a Wembley final.
I'm no worries about going away to Swindon. You know, it's disappointing. We're all disappointed tonight because Danny Sender, you know, who's played excellently in the last 2 months. Excellent pro, excellent character. He's dislocated his kneecap innocuously, no challenge, nothing. We went back for a tackle, and that means he probably won't play. Well, he certainly won't play again this season. He's off to hospital now, and you know, I think that upset everybody tonight, really.
That's where Barnet and Swindon drew 1-1 in the first leg of the Southern Area Johnston's Paint Trophy Final at Underhill. Barnet defender Danny Sender dislocated his kneecap in the game. He won't play again this season. Sender suffered the injury during a tackle here in the first half. It's a nasty one, wasn't it? You could see he went off on a stretcher. He was given oxygen in the change rooms and then he was transferred to hospital. I'll update you shortly, but just 2 minutes after Sender's injury, Aidan Flint headed Swindon in front. Barnet, though, did get back into the game with 20 minutes to go. Mark Marshall's free kick headed in by the other Mark Hughes. The second leg is on the 7th of Feb. The winners go through to the Wembley final. Laurie Sanchez gives an update now on Sender's injury.
Obviously, I had Danny when he was a young kid at Wycombe. I mean, I gave him his debut all those years ago. And yeah, he's matured as a player and as a character, and you know, he's had some bad injuries in the past and came here and had to prove himself, and he's proved it. He's been excellent this season. In the run we've had since in the last couple of months, he's been a standout player. And to lose him is devastating, for everybody involved with the team.
I prefer win, but away from home 1-0, and then after we won against Wigan 4 days ago, we spent a lot of energy, mentally, physically, so it wasn't easy to recharge the battery. And obviously the distraction at the end cost the victory, but I have to tell my lads they were amazing even today because it wasn't easy.
Swindon Town were held to a 1-1 draw by Barnet in the Johnstone's Paint Trophy Southern Final first leg. Chris Spittles for the West Country Tonight.
And Swindon Town are favourites to make it to Wembley after drawing the first leg of their Johnstone's Paint Trophy area final at Barnet. Aidan Flint put them in front before Barnet equalised. The second leg is back in Swindon next month.
This is our real cup that we can win. FA Cup and next round you can do something special, but realistically is nearly impossible. Nothing is impossible, but nearly. JPT is close. This is the most important cup for us. To make more bright, what they did a few days ago, you have to keep going and win. Otherwise, I don't want to say you burn what they did a few days ago, but you can put a little bit in a shadow, because this is football. Football is good and bad. For me, it's good, more good than bad, because burn your bad moment and your good moment in an instant. So, if we want to become a winning team, we are in a very good moment. We have to keep going and play at our level and win games.